Wealth can just be created. I don't have to take it from you. All right. Welcome back. This is part 2. Can I get some fireworks? Yeah, for confetti. There we go. This is part 2 of 10 lies you're believing that are completely derailing your future potential. We covered the first 3 in the last episode because we had a pretty long intro to it. We're going to get through the other 7 today. But just to recap, lie number 1, time is money. Lie number 2, 8 hours of work for 8 hours of pay. Lie number 3, you need a degree to be successful. Go back and check out the previous episode. My name's Brandan Chasteen.
My name's Bill Magill.
And we're jumping in. Lie number 4, a penny saved is a penny earned. Ew.
Benjamin Franklin.
Come on now. Like,
what?
That was true for Benjamin Franklin. The dude didn't he have wooden teeth?
I don't know, but I think he also said that there's only 2 inevitabilities in life, death and taxes.
Maybe one of those are still true.
Yeah.
But a penny saved is a penny earned.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, is if I save $1,
yeah,
and inflation is 2%.
Yeah.
In a year, that dollar is worth 98 cents. Right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I save a penny and inflation is 2%, there's nothing smaller than a penny. Not in the US currency thing, standards or whatever. So the reality is a penny saved is worthless.
I disagree.
Well, I will challenge you. A penny saved is a penny depreciated. Like, you can't spend less than a penny.
Yeah, but let's say that you owe a debt to somebody or something, like student loans or a car payment or something. And instead of, let's say you pay that something off, right? Let's say your car payment's
then you're not saving
$500 a month. Well, you are, because if
you're spending it on your debt obligations.
Hold on. If I take that 500 and I pay off, if I pay off my car, right, I'm no longer sending 500 to somebody else, which means with taxes, I didn't have to go out and make like $750. So it's actually, if I'm saving myself from sending,
you never saved anything. In that situation, you never saved anything. You paid your obligations. You didn't save money. You paid a debt.
We'll agree to disagree.
Let me challenge you. How about a penny invested is a penny earned?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if I invest my money, then my money is actually earning me money. If I put a penny in a mason jar, remember back in the day when we were like,
somebody else, if you stop paying somebody else interest, you're saving yourself money over time.
You're saving way more than a penny. But then if you just put that money in a mason jar, it will too become worthless.
No, I agree. Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
So we're on the same page, and I was right. The whole episode, Bill, is about admitting when we're wrong.
We're both right.
But the thing is like a penny saved is not a penny earned, right? Like I can earn money, and if I choose to save money, I'm not earning more money. If I put my money in a mason jar, it is in fact going to become more and more worthless.
It's true.
Right? And if we want to talk about, that's a whole nother conversation where I think we disagree wildly on. But if we look at every company every single company that has went from startup to billion-dollar company, you show me a path of startup to billion-dollar company, like an actual study where debt is not still a part of their mechanism of growth, right? Like, billionaires, they're leveraged. $1 billion corporations, $1 trillion corporations, they're leveraged.
Sure.
So why all of a sudden is it just it's an absolute like debt is dumb, debt is, cash is king. I'm Mr. David. Like, like, okay, so you're like Warren Buffett is one of the
That's awesome.
smartest investors of our time. And he has actually had like conversations and teachings about proper approaches and proper management and proper allocations using debt. So debt
Okay.
is debt is an instrument to wealth creation. It can be misused. People oftentimes get themselves in debts on things that aren't producing things that will lead them to the next level. We
Sure.
we put last night's dinner on our credit card and we don't pay it off. Now all of a sudden, like last month's dinner is 17% more expensive.
Yeah.
Right. But if I create leverage to buy a home, it's the same thing as me being in a $1 billion corporation and creating leverage to, create the new gigafactory in Texas so I can make more production, so I can sell more vehicles and have more revenue. Right.
Sure.
So that's a whole nother thing. You're getting me worked up, Bill.
Yeah, I don't think we disagree on any of that.
Well, you started pretty confrontational there. A penny saved is a penny earned is a lie, right?
Okay.
It's a straight up lie.
All right.
The way that, again, if
Like
there
on
is a truth,
technical definition, I agree. Yeah.
okay.
On the very technical definition, I agree with that.
So I want to challenge that. Again, two sides of a stick, polarity here. If that is true for someone,
Yeah.
then probably the other truth, the abundant thinker, is like, I don't want to go work for a penny and then have it become worthless. I want to work for a penny. I want to invest that penny. I want to have that penny earn pennies.
Yeah.
Right. That's a penny invested is earning pennies. A penny invested is a penny earned. Okay.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
And that's, I think, again, I talk all the time to clients about emergency savings accounts.
Yeah.
Right. And it is important for a lot of reasons to have a very, very appropriate emergency savings and nest egg. Right.
Yeah.
But it is, in fact, like I literally have these conversations all month long because we're actually adjusting them because it's the first of the year. But so many times I'm saying, hey, last year, your emergency savings, it was appropriate at $30,000.
Yeah.
But inflation was like $1 million%. Your income has gone up.
It's $2 million.
Right. So now all of a sudden, your $30,000 emergency savings is actually not even worth the same $30,000 it was last year. So we need to adjust it to $32,000 just based off of last year's number. But everything has gotten more expensive. So your monthly spending has went from, $5,000 a month to $6,000. So now we need to take and multiply 6 by 7 or 6,000 by 6. So now we're at 36 grand. So now you're new. So we have to actually put money into that emergency savings to make it appropriate. Yeah. And guess what? It won't be worth enough to call it appropriate next year. We'll have to do this adjustment again. We're actually only funding something like the emergency savings is an account that gets more worthless every year. The reason why we have it is we're basically parking this money for peace of mind and safety. It is important, but it is only purposed for that. So past that, if you're not investing your dollars, everything you have is becoming worthless.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah. And that's where the conversation from last episode, when we were talking about time is money, which is a lie, right? Time is infinitely more valuable. Not only is it infinitely more valuable, it's magical. It has a magical effect on money in that a penny saved is a penny depreciated, but a penny invested, it gets to like involve itself with time. Right. And what does time do to that penny? As an invested penny, it grows, it turns it into many, many pennies. Right.
I'm just still laughing about the David thing.
Oh man.
You're pumped. You're so pumped.
He gets me worked up. And he's All right. I digress.
It's okay.
Let's stop talking about pennies. I actually have that written in my notes.
Yeah, seriously.
is really frustrating. If that's your adage, if that's what your mantra to life, you're again living in a finite world, trying to multiply the finite by the infinite, you're still getting finite results. Lie number 5. Wanting to be rich means you're greedy, or being rich means you're greedy. Okay?
Yeah.
Wanting wealth, desiring wealth is evil. Money is evil. Money is, like it makes you nefarious to want wealth.
Yeah.
Right? How many times have you heard a client or a prospective client say something to the effect of like, I don't, what's the word here? Like I don't want to be rich. I just want to have enough. I want enough to be comfortable.
Yeah.
I want enough so I don't have to rely on my kids when I'm 80. We hear
Mostly
that all the
everybody.
time, right? I had a client made exceptional income. Like he made a lot of money every year.
Sure.
And he was embarrassed to tell me how much he made. When we first started working together, he was embarrassed to tell me. He was like, well, he was like, I haven't always made this much. And like, just how much do you make? And it took him a while to be able to admit how much he makes. He felt guilty about the money he earns.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. How much health do you want?
All I can get.
Is there any reason to apologize for that?
No.
Is there any reason that you should apologize for wanting endless health?
I don't think so.
How much joy do you want your wife to have?
All of it.
Is there any reason to apologize for that?
I don't think so.
No. My daughter, I want her to be endlessly smart.
Yeah.
I want her to have many things, but I want her to be endlessly smart. I want to be endlessly smart. None of these things we have to apologize for.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, when I say I want to be filthy rich, why that reaction?
Toilet.
Why that reaction?
Yeah.
Right?
Why?
Like,
Why
what is it?
Why are you greedy at this point?
Yeah, why are you being greedy, Brandon? You want to be
Yeah.
rich? Yeah, I want to be filthy rich. Like, I want to be endlessly wealthy.
Yeah.
But I'm supposed to apologize? That makes me evil? That makes me greedy?
Yeah. You're a bad
You know
person, Brandon.
why? You know why that thought exists? You know why that's like innate in us? Is because we see money as something that is like it's not abundant, right?
Yeah. Finite.
It's scarce. It's finite. If
Yeah.
I'm going to be rich, it means you have to be poor.
Yeah.
And that's not true.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that, but it's not.
So here's one thing that like I've heard this before is like just to drive home the fact that money is an abundant resource. It's endless. Right? And money can like wealth can just be created. I don't have to take it from you.
Yeah.
Okay. I go out to a junkyard and I'm perusing the junkyard and I see this car. Right? Okay, how much is this car? Like $800. Take the car home and I start putting money into the car. All right, let's say I put, between paint, engine fix ups, all this stuff. By the way, like I don't have a paint, so I'm gonna have to hire somebody. So I'm giving away my money.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say I put in 20 grand into this car. Turns out it's like a 1964 Mustang, and I get all these new parts for 25 grand. I've people like the parts manufacturers, people were employed.
Yeah.
The UPS guy delivering the parts was employed. The paint shop guy was employed.
Yeah.
Right. All that. So I'm creating wealth for other people on the path to turning an $800 car into a $47,000 car.
Yeah.
What part of that is me being greedy? What part of that is me stealing from someone else?
Yeah.
I, in fact, employed people on a path to creating wealth.
Yeah.
Right. So the fact of the matter is is once we understand that me being the healthiest version, like me wanting endless health. Like if I ever met somebody and I was like, "How much health do you want?" And they're like, "Oh, just enough to be comfortable." Like,
Yeah.
what? That's broken. We need to fix your brain. Like you shouldn't say that. How smart do you want your children to be? Just enough to make it. you know?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a good point. Like, why do we tighten up over the money thing when it's somebody said this a long time ago and it made sense to me, but there's a lot of people out there that say this, but this, money is amoral and money is a tool. And that's all it is. Just like everything else. Like your health is a tool. Um your brain is a tool. All the knowledge that you acquire and everything is a tool. So is money. It's just a tool. And and again, over time, tools can multiply.
yeah.
And what you perceive to be finite, like again, like we talked about last time. Oh, I learned how to fix my refrigerator. Like that's it. I'll never fix another refrigerator again. No, you could go help your neighbor fix the refrigerator. Your sister might need something done. Your mom and dad might need you to like you can teach other people to do that, right? Same thing with money is I can use my tool in a lot of different ways. I can take, I did this just for a fun, like I like making little side hobby jobs from it. Like I went to Lowe's and got a log splitter for $250 that was supposed to be on sale for 1,000. I checked with everybody, is this the correct price? And they're like, yeah. It's like, okay, great. I took it home. It works awesome. I can rent that thing out if I wanted to for $75 a day. Home Depot, and so in our little example, like Home Depot and Lowe's will rent it to you for $100 a day. So I'm saving other people money. I'm giving them something that I've already spent money on, and they're able to, get something done at their house, or they can hire me to do it if they want, So like nothing's ever exactly finite. You can use money as a tool. You can use actual tools. Everything in your life. If you just again, it's the abundance and the scarcity mindset.
Yeah, I think for me, like we're raised in a culture where I'm encouraged to be in I'm encouraged from a young age to get smarter.
Yeah.
And the thing about everybody encouraging me to get smarter, it they know that they don't have to lose any of their intelligence to for me to become smarter. It's
Yeah.
so you can create your own intelligence and I don't have to lose any of it.
Right.
Same thing with health. You can choose to be endlessly healthy and be as healthy as you possibly can be and it doesn't mean I have to be unhealthy.
Right. And it
And
may
I'd
even
argue that's true for money, but for some reason our culture or society we create this lie that suggests for you to be wealthy, I somehow have to not be wealthy. I
yeah.
met with
Well,
people in my industry. Well, I met two financial planners this week, and we're talking about like collaborating. Like we're
yeah.
talking about like helping one another's businesses out because we know like I can be as successful as I possibly can be, and so can they. Like they don't
Yeah.
threaten me, and I don't threaten them.
Well, and the other, like to use your example too, is if you take your health seriously, and like you get into great shape and you feel good all the time, and you're always going out and doing fun things, and you're not limited in really any way to do anything physical you want to do, that's going to inspire somebody else. Not only does it not take away from someone else, a lot of times you're going to have a buddy or somebody in your circle ask you, hey, how'd you do that? Like, can I come with you on your hike in the park? Like, I need to start getting my stuff
Right.
together. And money's the same way. It's like if you start taking your money seriously, not only are you not taking away from other people, there's going to be people in your circle that are going to ask you, how'd you do that? That seems like a really good idea that you're doing over there.
Yeah.
And in that way, the knowledge spreads and the tools spread. Yeah.
I want people to understand like wanting wealth, desiring rich, like to be rich, like success, it doesn't come at a cost of someone else if you do it the right way.
Yeah.
And most people that find wealth or success, they're not even doing it for themselves alone. There are a few selfish actors out there, but most people are doing it for the better of their family. I know wealthy people that I work with, like endlessly, relentlessly giving to organizations that matter to them, to
Yeah.
people, to problems, solving problems. So, but here's the thing, and here's what I definitely want to point out is you do not have to apologize for your success. You do not have to apologize for your wealth. You do not have to apologize for your income. And you never have to give to try to like justify your success. When we give, we should be giving out like we should be giving out of a heart to like out of our hearts to like bless somebody, right? Because we believe in purpose and we believe in like taking care of our neighbors. We should
Right.
give out of the goodness of our heart, not out of this like, oh, if I don't give, people are going to think I'm evil kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like you never need to be coerced into giving.
Or because you want to be a giving person, which you want to develop into a person that gives. That's along the same, along the same thread there.
Yeah. I just wrote down like give out of love, grace, and empathy, not out of guilt or justification. The only people that are trying to make you feel guilty or that you need to justify your wealth or success to or income to are sad people that think constantly in that scarcity mindset. Right. All right.
Yeah.
Lie number 6. So just to preface this one, again, going back to that like law of polarity, there's two sides of every stick, right? You pick up one side of the stick, you pick up the other side of the stick. So in this one, I wrote it down kind of as one thing. Life is hard, things are expensive. Right?
Yeah.
Is that true? It can be true. It can be true for you. It has been true for me. It can be true for me in the future. But if that is true, what
Yeah.
else is true? If it's true that life is hard and things are expensive, then there has to be a truth out there that life is easy and things are cheap.
Could be. Yeah. I
And
was thinking
again,
about this.
go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking about this today. I mean, I have clients that I need to get them documents in a very timely manner. Like I'm going to have to overnight it. And they're across the country. They're on the West Coast. And I was thinking about this today, like, yeah, I could, I'll take it to UPS and that's going to cost me, 50 or $60 to get these very important documents to these people like tomorrow morning. Right. Or in less than 24 hours. And I started thinking about that. I'm like, how crazy is that for $50 I can get a document 2,500 miles that way reliably? Like it's like 99 out of 100 times because UPS and FedEx are so good, and we're not sponsored by UPS or FedEx, just for the listeners out there. But how crazy is that? I take that for granted. Like we have the infrastructure in this country to make that consistently happen every single time that those papers wind up on their doorstep in less than 24 hours. Like
Yeah.
we kind of like, how many people are involved in that? I go to UPS, they put it on a truck. That truck driver is getting paid. He's going to the airport, probably. They're putting it on an airplane. The friggin' airline pilots and the people that load the plane are all employed by whoever. And then they're flying it to Oregon or California or Washington or whatever. And then you got people, playing. Then it's back on a truck. Then it's like, how many people for $50? Like,
Yeah.
How long would that have taken me on a horse, 200 years ago?
Well, it reminds me of, I want to say it was
so
Mitch
long.
Hedberg who was like, I went to the store recently and the escalator was out of order and it said, sorry for your inconvenience.
Yeah.
And he was like, what the sign should have said is, sorry that our escalator is now stairs.
Yeah.
Sorry
Yeah.
for your convenience, I think is what he
Yeah.
said. But yeah, I mean,
Like,
it's the fact of the matter,
crazy.
like again, if life is hard and things are expensive, if that can be true, then it can also be true that life is easy and things are cheap. And I understand like certain times life gets hard, and I understand certain things are expensive, but the saying where attention goes, intention follows.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm focused on my life being hard, my intentions will naturally push me into harder and harder situations. If I
Yeah.
focus
And
on all this, everything is expensive, my intentions are going to push me into being surrounded by expensive things.
yeah.
But if my
And
attention is focused on the other side of that stick, because if that is true, then the other has to be true.
yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking like there's some parallel universe somewhere where another bill is going to a UPS and he's like, "Oh my God, $60? Like that's so much money." Or, how many people walked into UPS that day? Like $60. It's so much money. And
Right.
then there's, me today. I was like, this is crazy cheap. And it makes my life so much easier. And
Yeah.
so yeah,
I would
you get to choose, which is kind of the fun thing. It's like you get to choose which window of the car you look at, the rainy day side or the, knowing that, okay, right now in my life in this situation, I am seeing this situation as this. Maybe there's another way that I can look at it. Maybe life isn't that hard. Maybe I do just have the sniffles and in 3 days I'm gonna be okay and the world's not ending. But every time I get a cold, it seems like everything's, my whole life stinks, right?
yeah.
So yeah, I
Challenge
think
challenge your mindset, I think is the end. I was just talking to an entrepreneur today that was like, asking the question, like, should I spend 50 grand on this equipment? That just seems like a lot. And I'm like, well, is it a lot? Like,
it's
what's
quite a
the
lot.
outcome? If you have this extra 50 grand of equipment, what does that mean for your revenue?
Yeah.
So your margins are a little bit higher because you have a debt payment, but your net is much higher too because your revenue just grew exponentially.
Yeah.
Right. So we can focus on this being expensive, and that will lead us to a path to say no to this purchase. Or we can understand that, hey, $50,000 in the grand scheme of things is not expensive. And if that's my focus and we make that, then all of a sudden my top line revenues are exponentially higher. Sure, margin comes down a little bit, but my bottom line is better. Right.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
We're back, baby. Thumbs is back.
All right. Lie number 7. Save today for a rainy day.
Yeah.
What do you think? You know where I'm going with this?
Well, I think we already talked about this a little bit with the emergency fund.
Well,
We
yeah, we
got
did. A penny
we
saved
got
is a penny earned. But like
eh,
just like listening to that saying that we've all probably heard before, unless you
pretty
live
depressing.
in a yeah, like saving for a rainy day. Like, man, how like just how terrible, like how sad
Yeah.
does that sound? And
It
like
reminds me
how
of
deep into a scarcity mindset do you have to be like I'm just picturing Eeyore,
that's what I
just
was gonna say. Have you
is
seen the
it?
live action Winnie the Pooh?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, well, there's a live action. It's a couple years old now, but the guy finds Eeyore and he's like floating down this what when it's on Eeyore, he's like in the middle of like an Amazon river, like it's huge. And he's like he's like, Eeyore, get out of the river. He's like, right where I belong. And he's like just floating down. And he's like, Eeyore, you're gonna go over a waterfall. He goes, it's okay, don't do anything. And anyway, like, so he goes over the waterfall and then it zooms out to like the human's perspective, and it's like this little creek and stream thing, and he just like went over a rock, but he's like, he's like, oh man, I'm still here. It's like so depressing. Anyway, yeah, my
Yeah,
head went right to that scene.
like you have to be such into like the deepest places of scarcity mindset for you to be the famous person that coined the phrase saving for a rainy day.
Yeah.
How about we change that to invest for a brighter tomorrow?
Ooh.
Kind of the same like physical
What?
action of like putting our money somewhere,
Yeah.
but all of a sudden now you're saying like I'm not just saving for one day that's going to be miserable anyway. Instead, I'm like saving for a whole brighter thing, like a whole endless or limitless potentially like
And then you can
place,
sustain the rainy day. You can
or you can
sustain.
just not have clouds in your future, right?
Yeah. Which is ironic because like an emergency fund in a lot of ways does that. Like if you have $15,000 in the bank as like your emergency fund and your car costs you $1,000, unexpectedly,
But here's the thing.
it's not that big
It
of a deal, right? But if you have no money for a rainy day, it's like it's a huge deal because you don't have any money, right? So I think it's better to like view it that the other way for sure. But it's funny how like if you can get to that one spot, oh, I went away again. If you can get
did.
to that one spot, kind of accomplishes the same goal.
Yes. And I just emergency savings accounts are wildly, wildly important. But I'll tell you this,
Yeah.
that my people that understand
You're so
that
mad.
no, my people that understand that income is not tied to the hours they work, but it's tied to their output, their performance, their
Yeah.
ability to solve problems.
Yeah.
They are not they are not afraid in the same way as my hourly thinkers are about the what ifs in life. Because the thing is my people that are sitting there having solutions that come from the creation in their brain, like they create solutions, they create uh products, they create services, they create these things, they're doing it on their own. They know that they're solving problems in such a way that they don't have to work. Like it's like, Brandon, if I need 20 grand, then I'll just go offer my service for 20 grand instead of 80. Right. And if I need to solve a problem for my car being broke down, I'm just going to go out and make enough money to just buy an entirely new fleet of vehicles.
Hmm.
Now, again, I will never be in a place where I will tell every client that I work with has an emergency savings,
Yep.
but it is such lower of a focus point for my people that are not stuck in thinking in this hourly mindset.
Yeah.
Because when in fact we're earning our money hourly for our hourly work from someone else, we're just a slave to them, and they can cut us off at any time.
It's true.
Right? If my income is tied to me showing up and doing task for you on an hourly basis, the minute you don't need me to execute that task is the minute that I'm fired.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden my emergency savings is paramount, right? But if I'm solving a problem that only I can solve and I'm making you more money than I'm making me, I'm not a slave to you anymore. If
Right.
anything, you're a slave to me.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Like, I'm solving big problems for you and making you more money than you're paying me.
Yeah.
Right. So now all of a sudden in that mindset set shift, you're just a lot less focused on the what if, the rainy day. Right. Because
Yeah.
we're thinking from a place of abundance. All right.
All right.
Next one, lie number 8. Did I miss one?
Pennies.
Live within your means.
Yeah.
Lie.
Lie.
Live within your means.
Going back to rich dad, poor dad, man.
How about
How
we
can I
change it?
afford it?
How about we change this to expand your means?
Yeah.
I've told every single client in every single meeting this month. It will be easier for you to earn $15,000 more this year than it will be to cut your monthly spending by $500 a month.
Wow. That's quite the statement, Brandan.
Well, that may not be true for somebody that's never paid attention to their spending, but my clients that I have been working with were well aware of what we spend and where we spend our
Okay.
money,
All right. That's
right?
different for sure.
And once you get your life kind of set, right? It is very, very hard to cut your spending unless you're spending like 20 grand a month or more, which I do have clients that are spending absolutely insane amounts of money. But for average people that come into my office,
Pretty
spending
reasonable.
somewhere around 6 to 10 grand a month, like, and that's everything, like their
Yeah.
mortgage, all their debts, all their utilities, all their food, all their insurance bills, like their health insurance, like all the things, right? 6 to
Yeah.
10 grand a month.
Sure.
It's going to be hard to cut your spending by $500 a month. You will have to make significant sacrifices likely to cut $500 a month. Whereas
Okay.
I bet money. I mean, 70 rent your log splitter out for $75 an hour. If you advertise that the right way, you could probably make, $7,500 this month.
Well, $75 a day, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Like,
Okay. Well, times 30 then. You're the
yeah.
one putting limits on yourself by
Yeah.
hours.
I'm doing
But
it again.
yeah, the fact of the matter is in today it is never been easier for human beings to earn money in the
Sure.
history of the world than it is in the age that we live in,
Yeah. It's
right?
true.
And I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything unethical, right? Because there are ethical ways to make money. But I would bet, I would bet for anybody hearing this that it is easier for you to make $15,000 more this year than it is. And here's why. It's because every one of us has lived a unique life,
Yeah.
but not so unique that nobody else experiences the things that we experience. And guess what? Our life experiences make us really good at things. Unfortunately, sometimes, fortunately, sometimes, but we get good at things because of our unique life. And people will pay us for insights into things that they might have to endure one day. Right? Like I can think of clients that have lost kids. The kids passed away. Right? The what they have endured, if they were to put that, like how to overcome the things that come along with the loss of a child, if you were to put that into a book or a podcast, if you were to put that into like a consulting program where you'll help carry, parents that have lost children through this process, how much is that worth? Like we are all so unique, but we are also not 1,000%. Like every experience is not unique. So I would say that it is easier for you to earn $15,000 extra by saying, what problems can I solve? What value can I deliver? And how do I package it? Right? It's easier to do that than it is to cut. So living with your means, scarcity, expanding your means, abundance. All right. Last one.
Agreed.
I think I miscounted somewhere, but sorry. That's supposed to be on Do Not Disturb. It is on Do Not Disturb. Whoops. All right.
Very important phone call.
What's just that? All right. So the last one, and I might have miscounted, but this is the last lie that I have on this list, and it is a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Bill, what do you think that means? Why is that a lie?
Why is that a lie? Well, I think because sometimes you need to take risks, and but
you nailed it. It's exactly.
Yeah, I think that like always taking one in the hand instead of going for two in the bush, like I think that can be a scarcity mindset in that like if I don't get the one thing, like I'll have nothing. When it's actually like there you can have a floor, So for instance, like when we talk about emergency funds and investments, like the emergency fund is there as a floor so that you can invest and go for the two in the bush, right? So um it's good to put yourself in smart situations to take risks. I think taking risks is all a part of life. And so I think if you play it too safe, you get too stuck again in certain mindsets, and taking risks and going for it every once in a while can expand horizons, expand the way you think about things, and realize that you're not just going to get one shot at one in the hand or two in the bush. My dad always he's so right about this. Is one of the best pieces of advice he ever gave me is he always said, Bill, the opportunity of a lifetime comes around once a day. And that's always done two things for me. One, like if this opportunity goes away, it's not the end of the world. Like don't get yourself in a tizzy thinking you always have to, this is it. Like it's not it. There's going to be one tomorrow. Right.
Yeah.
And so pick your battles, but also it's an abundance mindset. These opportunities are going to keep on coming, and that's okay to not take every one, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be looking.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. And I would just say that people that I have heard say a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush are typically people that are afraid of a loss, right? Of taking an L. Yeah. Or they assume that because of who they are or their circumstances, that the probability of them winning is slim to none.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, and we're going to do a show on this coming up, but the whole idea of like, is failure acceptable? I absolutely do not think failure is acceptable. Failure is unacceptable to me. Okay. However, there is a big difference between a loss and failure. And we'll get
Yeah.
into that in another episode. But I am of the mindset you do not fail, but sometimes you will take a loss. It's like in boxing. Like
Yeah.
every time you get punched in the face, you don't lose the fight. You just punch back, right? And
Sometimes.
so a
Unless
punch in the
you get
face
hit
is
by
not
Mike Tyson.
losing the fight. What?
Unless you get hit by Mike Tyson, then
Well,
you might be gone.
maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't
But I
know.
get it.
I've never fought Mike Tyson. Probably wouldn't try that either. Maybe not. He's getting a little older. He'd probably still beat me up pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick a fight with Mike Tyson.
All right.
No, I get it.
So
I said I get it. I think that's. It makes me think of my wife was not happy with her workplace at one point in time. This is back in the day, and she was thinking about leaving. And we were having discussions about it, and she was saying to me like, well, it could be worse somewhere else. And she had other people in her life saying, well, you don't know how it's going to be somewhere else. It could be worse. And it's like, yeah, but it could be way better. It could be awesome. And if it is worse, I can probably just come back, So anyway, that's just the kind of the last thought that I had before
we're
start
gonna
talking
wrap
about
up.
Mike Tyson.
You got these 2 episodes, part 1 and part 2. I do hope you enjoyed them. Listen, at the end of the day, I want to reiterate a couple things. Is again that first question that we asked: do we believe things that are true, or do we think things are true because we believe them?
Yeah.
My challenge to you is to seek truth at risk of being wrong, and then understanding our attention. Our intentions follow our attention. Our intentions follow our attention. And if you change your focus from scarcity to focusing on abundance, you can change the outcome and you can do a lot more. I promise you, there is plenty of science and psychology that will tell us that when we internalize things, they will limit our income, our outcome, right? If we whatever we internalize, that can become the limits of who we are, what we do. It's when we aim and strive for more, we internalize new truths that give us an expansive range that we can grow just by changing our mindset. If you change your focus, you can change your life.
Yeah, it's true.
That's it. Hope you enjoyed part 2. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. See you.
We hope you learned something valuable today. We appreciate you including us in your journey towards financial betterment. It is important to us that you know this is for educational purposes only and not to be considered specific advice for any individual listener. If something we discussed is relevant to you and you have questions about how it might be uniquely applicable to you, please discuss that with a financial professional, or, of course, we are happy to have further conversations with you about your specific questions, needs, or circumstances. We welcome you to reach out to us via our website, harpethwealthpartners.com, or by emailing Brandan at bmc@harpethwealthpartners.com. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice is offered through Private Advisor Group, a registered investment advisor. Private Advisor Group and Harpeth Wealth Partners are separate entities from LPL Financial. The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not to be intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult appropriate qualified professionals prior to making a decision. Investing includes risk, including fluctuating prices and loss of principal. No strategy assures success or protects against loss. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Hypothetical examples presented are not representative of any specific investments. Your results may vary. We want to thank you for your time, and we look forward to having you back next week.